BrightSign has BrightAuthor application, BrightAuthor Connected or BrightAuthor Classic, that allows you to create and publish presentations to the players. But this is not the only option. If you want, you can use other content management systems. Here is the list of all CMS platforms that support BrightSign players. In this video, I will show how to add a player to one of these CMS platforms. Go to Control BSN Cloud, and if you don't have a user, create a new one and then sign in. Select network that you want to access. It is the network on the cloud. Network is the same as account, and the system allows you to create multiple networks. This gives you more easy management of the players in cases if you have multiple businesses or multiple customers with many players, and you can organize players on different accounts if you want. After you accessed your account on BSN Cloud, go to Admin Setup. Here first select publishing mode for your player. In our example, partner application. This is all partners that support BrightSign players. Let's select Upspace, for example. Some partners provide direct URLs to download setup package for BrightSign from their server. In this case, you can use app URL option and paste link to setup package. Give a meaningful name to your setup package. It will appear under this name in the library later. If you have one player, you can select use name only and give a name and description to the player. If you want, you can apply one setup package to multiple players, and in this case select append player ID, and each player will assign its serial number, will use its serial number as a name on the network tab. Next, setting time zone. You need to select time zone where your player is located. This is important for content scheduling feature. You can change idle screen color, and the player will output this color to the screen when content is not scheduled to play. You can set it black. Using call zeros, I believe. Yes. Next, if you want, you can change network configuration on the player. For example, you can assign static IP address to the player. If you enable a local diagnostic web server, you will be able to connect to the player later from your web browser on the same local network using player IP address. As shown in this example, I can access my player on the local network and view system information, logs, and other useful things about my player. You can also update BrightSign operating system or firmware on your player by choosing your player model and selecting latest operating system. You can also contact content management system support and ask them what OS version they recommend to use with BrightSign for successful operation with the platform. This one also is important setting. If you enable it, the player will connect to the cloud, and you can you will see it on the network tab and can remotely access it. It's recommended to enable this setting. After you finish, click Add Setup to Library. I already have this setup package, so let's name it version 2. The setup will be added to the library, and you can access the library by going to Admin Setup Library. Here I have 3 setup packages, or 4 setup packages already.
I can't help you with that.
I can copy, clone setup packages if I want to make a new copy of it under new name. I can edit setup packages if I want to update settings, and then click Update Setup in Library to save these settings. I can also delete setup packages that I don't need from my library. This was the first step. We created setup for the player. Next step, we need to register the player on BSN Cloud. To do it, we go to Admin Provision, and I already have player registered. You can register your player by clicking Add Player button and enter serial number of your player. You can find serial number on the sticker at the bottom of the player, or if you connect the player to the screen and reboot the player without storage, without micro SD card, for example, and the player will show serial number on the screen. After you add the player, default setup will be attached to the player. We don't need default setup. We need to click on the player and click Apply Setup, and select the setup that we created for CMS platform, in our example AppSpace, and click Apply Setup. Now we see that player has AppSpace setup. So we have successfully registered the player on BSN Cloud and applied setup. Next, final step, you need to insert empty SD card formatted in exFAT or FAT32 file system in your player, and then connect the player to power and internet. The player will connect to BSN Cloud, to your network on BSN Cloud. It will download setup from the cloud and execute it. This will work only if it's a new player. If your player was used somewhere else on some other accounts, or it had other setup type applied before, you need to factory reset your player. To factory reset your player, type factory reset in Google, and the first search result will point you to the BrightSign knowledge base. You can click this link and access factory reset instructions. Option 3 is recommended. You can follow these steps. First, disconnect player from power. Second step tells to remove player storage, but you can keep SD card in the player, but your SD card must be empty. next you press, so SD card is inserted in the player and you press two buttons, SVC and reset. Press and hold them. You connect player to power and keep holding the buttons. You will see a red LED will start blinking fast, and when you see it you release both buttons and factory reset process will begin. It will take around a minute, and after factory reset the player will connect to the cloud, download setup, execute it. Your player will appear on the network tab. It will have green health status, but the setup will be a partner. My player was set up for local file networking, but if I reprovision it now, it will have partner setup. Also, your player will connect to the partner CMS platform that you specified in setup package, and from that moment you can register the player on that CMS platform and start sending content to the player using that CMS website. You will need to access a CMS website and continue there. So that's all. You can use BSN Cloud to view player settings, to view player health status, to remotely access player from any location using web browser over internet. You can view player info, logs, control diagnostics tools. You can use, you can see what is on the SD card. You can generate snapshots to see what player is playing on the screen at current time. You can view registry settings and other things. BSN Cloud gives you these benefits. You can even change setup types on the player, change player settings if you want. You can create new setup, save it to the library, then go to provision, select your player, apply new setup if you want to change settings, and after you applied setup you need to reprovision the player. Reprovision is easy. You access the player here, go to control and select reprovision. After you click update button, the player will download new setup that you assigned to the player on the provision tab. It will download that new setup, execute it, and change its settings. BSN Cloud Control Cloud service is absolutely free. You don't have to pay subscriptions to use it. You can read about it on the software page here. On the BrightSign website it describes what Control Cloud offers.